Gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Stuck in the Middle podcast.
Yes,
I'm one of
sir.
your hosts, AK.
Yes, sir. Welcome. I'm Reflex, one of your hosts, man.
Yeah, man. How you doing, Reflex?
Bro, I'm just getting off a cold. You know, the past. I used to brag like I don't get sick, man. That joint hit me, bro. I was in my covers like, I need a bay right now. I just need a bay to just come and squeeze the way and just, pat me on the head. But it's all good. I'm good now. That OJ got me feeling good. So I'm good.
Okay.
Yes,
That's
sir.
what's up, man. How's your Sunday going?
Nah, it's good, man. I was just thinking about how, like, you know what I mean? Like, we live in a era, you know what I'm saying? Like, time now where digital media is, like, huge. 2017 going to 2018. I mean, like, everybody has a business online.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But, like, it's so much.
So much.
It's so much. So how
much.
do you like market your stuff so that, you know what I'm saying, you can get on top? People can see it. People can recognize it.
How do you know you're doing the right thing?
Exactly,
You know what I
bro.
mean? How do you know people to reach out to? You know, how do you know your
Audience.
product stands out?
You
know what I mean?
yeah.
How to reach your audience.
Exactly. Which is,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, why I'm excited about this guest that we got today, man.
Let them
Like,
know. Let them know who got in the building today, fam.
Bruh, today in the building, we have Sterling McKinley.
McKinley.
Yeah, he's a digital marketing speaker, trainer, and consultant. You know, he's also the CEO of McKinley Media Group Family. Welcome, Stanley, to Stuck in the Middle podcast. Welcome,
sir.
bro.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah,
Thanks for
man.
having me.
Welcome. How's your day going so far, man?
Good so far. A little cold outside, but I made it out. I'm doing all right.
Yeah. Yo, first and foremost, congratulations, man.
Thank you.
2 months.
Thank you.
Married.
Too much.
Two months in.
Hey, he's
Came with his
ladies,
beautiful bride.
ladies, he is taken. Just get the information. Forget about the other stuff today. Nah, bro, welcome to the pod, man. We excited to have you, bro. You actually reached out, and we appreciate that.
I did.
We appreciate that. That also speaks to what you do.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of my principles I have that I'm big on the power of asking. So, a lot of people wait for things to fall in their lap. I'm like, if I want it, I'm going to ask for it.
Yeah.
So, in my business, in my life, I've always asked for things, and they've happened. So, saw your podcast, saw the platform. I love what you guys are doing. I said, hey, I would love to be on there, share my story, my experience, because, I have a story to share. I have things that help somebody else. And, that's really what I am. At my core, I do digital marketing, do coaching and speaking, but I'm really a helper. So I like telling people, hey, this is your plan, this is your goal, this is how you can get there. So digital marketing is one of those ways where I can help a lot of people.
Yeah. How'd you get started in this, man? Like, you know what I'm saying? We go to school, you either be a lawyer, doctor, engineer, or you're a disgrace. Anybody going to school to be digital marketer.
Marketer. Like, what is that? You know?
Yeah. So funny story. I'm an old guy now. So I was in college back in 2000, and this was like kind of right after the tech boom. So a lot of tech companies kind of went under, and people were saying, "Oh, the internet, what's going to happen? Is it going to continue?" And I could kind of see even back in school that this internet thing was going to be huge. That companies could just grow their companies. So at that time too, there was no course for digital marketing. There was nothing. I mean, you had Facebook out, you had blogs and websites, but there was no like set training. So I got one of those books like How To for Dummies, how to do websites, and started from there in my dorm room. Wanted a winter break, stayed in the dorm room, built my first site. It was terrible, but it got me in the process, of doing digital marketing. So, and since then, it's evolved so much. It's been a lifetime. I mean, 17 years ago, that was a lifetime in digital. So, first just websites and social media came, then apps came, and phones came, and it just continues to grow. So, that's how I got started, really. I mean,
when you were getting into it, were you like, man, I'm getting into this because there's bag in it, or was it just something that you loved and you were like, yo, this is a need that I want to fill?
I say I just love, because at that time there was no money into it. So I remember I just graduated high school, and that summer before I went to college, telling my parents that I didn't want to go to college anymore. That this thing called the internet is going to be the new thing. I did my research. I had all these manuals, all these printouts of articles and studies and rejections saying this thing's the future. I gave it to them on the table, and they laughed at me. They said, go to school, get your degree in business, and then try this. So I don't know what it was, but I could just see it coming, see it being the future. And, I had a love for marketing already. So I say marketing and this online thing, put those together, and it could really be something special. So, Yeah, I don't know what it was, but I saw it coming years before it was there.
What were the struggles like? I mean, what kind of struggles did you face, going through this? Like, what did your parents think of that?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely mixed support. My mom's all like, "Go ahead, baby. You can do it."
Shout out to your moms.
And my dad was kind of like, "Oh, I have a plan A and plan B, and something to fall back on." So, I did eventually end up going to school. Started out in marketing, switched to communications. Did that. So, in school, I kind of made my own curriculum. So I took what I was learning in school with what I was watching online, videos and books, and kind of from there really taught myself. So starting out, it was hard. I mean, now there's so many resources for you. If you're starting a business, you have a ton of information on YouTube. You have videos, you have books, you have, centers that help entrepreneurs. When I was doing, there was none of that. So there was a lot of trial and error, a lot of mistakes, finding out how to present myself, how to price myself, how to find clients. So, it was definitely tough at first.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people out here right now who want to sit in the seat you're saying right now, and that is, be a digital marketer. Know all these different tools,
Right.
to market themselves. How were you able to, pinpoint all the things you needed to actually drive this vehicle?
Yeah, like I said before, it changes it every day. And, one of the things I got from my dad, just always being intuitive. And, my dad sometimes would take these long drives and it'd be like, "Oh, what's around that corner?" So, I kind of had that same drive too. I'm saying, what's the next thing going to be? So I'm always reading, trying to see what the new trend is, what the new thing coming is. So like WordPress is now is big for building websites. Years before that was big, I was already seeing that coming and I was getting on it. Right now, I do a lot of pay-per-click or paid search, which is really big now. I got into that years ago just because I saw it coming, and now it's one of the main things I do for my clients. So really just being forward-thinking, trying to be ahead of the curve and see what's next.
That's one thing that I've just you see a lot. You see things, like as far as digitally coming before they even hear. What's one thing that you peeping? I'm just gonna get right into it. That you seen that it's like we're not even peeping it right now.
I mean, it's getting harder because there's so many ideas out there now that already been done. But I think digital marketing is going to get more personal. It's still very one size fits all. More personal, of course, more video. And more social. Social media is exploding now. And sometimes your social media site can be bigger and better than your website. So yeah, it just is always changing.
Yeah,
I remember I watched. Sorry, cut you short. I watched one of your videos, and you were asking people what social media is. And,
right.
Most people thought social media was just Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You know what I mean? For those who
that would have been my answer.
Oh, that would be my answer. For someone like Reflex who thinks social media is still Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Could you elaborate more on what social media really is?
Yeah, so people have those platforms I'm on: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and I say anything online you do where you're talking to your consumer, your customer, is social. Social, going back to the definition, just sharing and talking. So your email can be social, your social media is social, your website is social. So really, anything you do online is really social. Anything you do online can be shared, can be retweeted, can be seen by people. So, something I try to tell a lot of my clients and my attendees in my workshops is that, your business has to be social. It can't just be about Facebook, but everything you do, you have to be sharing, because that's what digital marketing really is. It's sharing your experience, it's sharing your company on a large scale.
Who are some of your customers, your consultants?
Who's some of my consultants?
Yeah. Who are your customers right now? In your
it varies. I mean, I worked with doctors and lawyers. I worked with telecom companies. I can't say some names.
Yeah.
I work in sports, so it's really ran the gamut from starting out the small mom and pop to the church, now to Fortune 500 companies. So it really varies. Who I work with.
So in like an artist terms, like you independent, or you have a company you work with, or you employed it. This is just you, like you wake up every day and you like just somebody who's doing this without being attached to a company per se.
Yeah, it's funny because when I first started out, it's like it had all to be me. It had to be my name and everything. I had to come in and turn the lights off and turn the lights off at night. But as I've grown, I still do things on my own, but I have more partnerships now. You know, I work with companies. I consult with marketing agencies. So it's really bigger than just me now. Before when I started off, it was just me. And my company was just me. It was small, but the more I branched out, started working on different contracts. A few years ago, I got certified to be MBE, doing work for Maryland. So I did some of that, partnering with an agency, doing work for the state of Maryland, working with agencies now, doing things. So it really depends. I mean, even approaching universities and colleges, speaking to their students. So, you know, I'm my own being, but I have a lot of different, you know, branches where, you know, I'm able to perform my work.
So a lot of people like to stand out, right? Like they like to do things on their own. They feel like collaborating with somebody, you know what I mean, it makes you get half the bag. Why would I collaborate with somebody if I, you know, if I could get the full bag? Like, is that importance to collaboration rather than working independently?
Yeah, it's big, and something I wish I had really learned and done earlier. So, yeah, I've come to this thing where I don't have to be the king of everything, you know, so I can have interests of different companies or projects and don't have to be the front runner on everything I do. So I wish I'd done it earlier. And, you know, I found that it really makes what you're doing better, you know, because there's some things I'm good at. I'm good at digital marketing, but somebody that does social media 24/7 is better than me. So if I have a project, I consult with them, I bring them on. You know, as far as design goes, web design is very difficult. Designing a logo is difficult. Now, I know how to use Photoshop, but a graphic artist, you know, can do that much faster and better than I do. Right. So, you know, it's definitely, I think you need to know about your business, about your field, but never feel like, you know, you can't use a specialist to help you, because that's, you know, improved my work, my quality of work by using other people.
Like for, you know, somebody like us, you know what I mean, starting me the podcast, like, yo, we trying to get this platform on, like, you know what I'm saying, like the first pop-up when you do a Google search, you know what I mean, like, and this is where, you know, people, if you're listening and watching, you know, can contact you, get that consultation and get all the nitty gritty of, like, as far as like everything that you know in your wisdom. But how to go about that at first? Like, you know, say I have this idea and I want to get it out there using digital media. How do people? What's the best way?
Right. So I have this thing I do in my workshops. It's called the Get Found Formula, and the Get Found Formula is like 5 kind of basics of online marketing that you need. So first, you need a website. You know, you need a website that's user friendly, that's easy to navigate. You want to have pictures, videos, and most importantly, you want a site that's informative. After that, social media, of course. You want to be on the major networks, the Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and so on. The third one is video. It's huge. So you want to be on Facebook. You want to have some video on your page because, you know, I like to say online is this very funny environment. You read a lot of text, you see pictures, but when you see a video, they can get to know your personality, you as a person, and that makes somebody feel more comfortable, you know, calling you for service. The next thing I see is email marketing. It's kind of the forgotten tool people forget about, but still, somebody's email box is the best way, one of the best ways to reach them. People on their phones all day, why not send an email to their phone? And the last one, I would say most important one, is SEO, or search engine optimization, which is huge because, you know, I like to say, you know, we all, not yet, one day, we're not household names, but nobody really knows who I am or who the podcast is, but they're going to get online and they're going to search for those terms and those phrases that describe your podcast. So when they go on Google, they're not typing in Stucking on a podcast. They're going to type in podcasts for entrepreneurs, podcasts for designers, things like that. Right. So, you know, that's one thing I say to my customers and clients too is digital marketing. Try to get inside your customer's head. Somebody doesn't know anything about your company. What things are they going to type in? What things do they want to see online that's going to make them reach out and email or call you for service?
Where do you get your best ideas?
Best ideas?
Yeah.
The Lord. Best ideas. No, my wife can tell you I'm a thinker. I do a lot of brainstorming.
Yeah, it seems like it. I feel that.
Thinking about things. I do a lot of reading blogs online. And like I said, just, you know, that nature I got from my dad, thinking about, you know, what's next and what's around the corner. That's how some of my ideas come to me.
when I read books, right? Well, I'm a reader too. I like reading entrepreneurial books and stuff. Trying to find different ways. There's so many ways to get to one avenue.
Right.
So as you read books, right? How do you transcribe what you read into reality? Because your reality is not my reality.
Right.
Right. So how do you transcribe whatever it is you read to the needs of your clients?
And also part B to that, shifting what is good and what is bad.
Yeah. Good question. Two-part question. All right. So your question, what was it again? Two-part. Okay, you first.
My bad. I threw a monkey wrench right now.
So as you read, right? How do you transcribe what you read to the needs of your customers?
So first, there's a ton of information out there, and the thing about online too, some information is good, some information is bad. So, like in school writing a paper, verify your source, try to read it in 4 or 5 different places, and then, it's good information. But really, when I read a lot of things, everybody's life is business is different, but I'm looking for kind of general principles. And, in my business, I'm not really too big on this is how you set up a Facebook page. Log on to Facebook.com, click create a page. That's easy. Anybody can do that. Anybody can go online and find out how to create a Facebook account. My thing is always about the purpose behind it, the strategy. That's what I'm really big on. So a lot of what I read for is strategy, not so much the service, because we can figure out how to do Twitter. We can figure out how to live stream. Getting a website, that's easy. Anybody can do that. But the strategy behind it, thinking about how this is going to be received by your customer, that's the part I really look for. So, when I look at something, a book or article, it can be old. I can look at that thing still and see the strategy in that. Not so much the application, but the strategy.
Some people do consultations hourly. What do people get from you in that hour?
Right.
Yeah. What can somebody get from you in that hour? You know what I mean?
So, I started that a few years back doing consultations, and one of the first things that happened is a questionnaire you fill out. So you don't want to waste time in that hour you have. You want to make that hour the best it can be. So really finding out what do you want to achieve. So many people get into digital marketing or anything and don't have any goals. So what are your goals? What are you doing currently? What are some things you want to do? What is your budget? What are you doing now as far as our social media? What has worked in the past? And more importantly, who are your competitors? So once I had that kind of assessment, I can take those questions. I can come up with a kind of a game plan for you. So in that hour session, we sit down, we review your goals. We talk about how we can get to that ultimate to reach your goals. I give them a kind of an outline of how they can get there, some steps, some checkpoints. I have a 30-day checklist you do. So social media do this, your website do this, and the person from that meeting can take those things I gave them continuously and do them to get their goal, or they can consult with me for further consultation. And I also give them a recorded phone call of the meeting. So a lot of times you're talking in meetings, you're trying to write things down really fast. I want them to be able to have that recorded conversation later so they can refer to.
I feel like, what I'm saying, like again, just going back to the times that we live, it's like everybody's trying. It's like a marathon. Everybody's trying to get ahead. You know what I mean? Like there's other. I think this podcast is. I'm always gonna use this podcast as like the example. But how can some people might listening right now? How can I win this marathon as far as that competition? How can I get on top? Like make sure like my stuff is what people are seeing. Right. Yeah. How do I win that marathon?
It comes back to the old slogan that content is king. So people love content. There's a reason why TV is so popular and books and music is so popular. People love to hear and read content. So the first thing, you need to become a content animal. Put out as many blog posts, as many podcasts, social media posts, videos as you can. People love that. And, that's the way that Google works. Google rewards sites that have fresh, relevant content. So whatever your topic is, whatever your niche is, your business, try to create a ton of content around that topic. And I would say too, try to find a niche. So a lot of people are really broad like this. And it's like if you go online now, you do a search for lawyers. You're going to get a billion results for lawyers all over the country. But if you do personal injury lawyers in Baltimore, Maryland, you get a smaller list. And you can go smaller from that. So pick a niche. I would say pick a niche, one, and put around content around the niche. People want to see content. They want to see pictures. They want to see video. So that's what I would say, getting started.
How do you pick a niche?
Yeah.
How? Right?
Yeah, that can be hard. So I'll say you can start if you have a passion about something. That may be a niche. Like if you have a passion of working with doctors or working with lawyers, that can be your niche. Or your niche can be based off the competition. And maybe in your marketplace, there's a lot of people working with lawyers. You say, okay, I'm gonna work with doctors. So you can kind of look at a certain category of business that's underserved and serve that market. But sometimes being general can make it harder. Sometimes when you have a niche, people see you as a specialist. They're like, oh, he doesn't work with plumbers. He doesn't work with contractors, just doctors. Right. That's the guy I'm going to go to. So sometimes in your client's eyes, they see you as bigger. They kind of want that boutique, that kind of personal touch. So having a niche definitely helps with that.
Everybody wants to be Bill Gates or right. Like everyone wants to make it big, right?
Yeah.
But there's a factor that plays in people not actually, waking up from the couch, for example, and actually going out to do stuff, and that factor is fear.
Right.
How can people overcome fear?
Yeah. That's a life question. So I mean, I'll use my personal story. I remember the first time that I was asked to speak was about 5 years ago. I had a friend that was giving a talk at Howard University. At the last minute, he had to go to Philadelphia to do something else. And he called me and said, hey, Sterling, do you want to speak at this event? And I'm on the phone like, just thinking about it, the anxiety of public speaking. And I said, I'll let you know. So, I thought about it a little bit, and I called back a few days later and said, yeah, I want to do it. And, it was a week later. So that entire week, one of the best ways to conquer fear is being prepared. So when you're prepared, what's the fear? So, I remembered all of my slides. I remember every single word of presentation. I had all these interactive things for the audience. I remembered everything that I had to do. So I remember the first day, the day of the speech, and I'm in the bathroom getting ready to go on stage and speak. And you've seen 8 Mile, right?
Yeah.
So the scene where Eminem's in the bathroom and he's looking in the mirror about to throw up. So that's me. I'm in the bathroom mirror like, what am I doing? I got to get out of here. There's a back door.
His arms are sweaty. Palms some spaghetti. I don't even know.
If I leave, they won't even know.
Yeah.
But I did it. And, I went to give the speech, and it was like one of the best days of my life. The audience got all my jokes. All the examples went well. People were clapping, asking questions. And I said, wow, this is something that I want to do. So, I guess it's one of those things, like sometimes what you fear, that can be your opportunity. If it's scary to you, maybe you should do it. So, I can imagine where I would be right now if I didn't conquer that fear, of speaking. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be in this podcast. Right. I would be, doing something else. So, conquering fear can be hard. But two ways the pros and cons. And sometimes if you weigh the cons, they're nothing. It's somebody looking at you funny, somebody saying what, like that's nothing. And what's the reward? Me growing my business, making more sales, and growing my company and becoming bigger. I'll take that chance because the cons, the bads are pretty low.
You mentioned slides, that particular talk that you did years back. I mean, people grow up, perspectives change, you learn new things. In one of your talks, you mentioned staying away from PowerPoint slides and like tech talks. What's why stay away from that in that particular form of presentation?
It's a good question. So something I've done, I've tried to be a student of speaking. So in my family, there's a lot of pastors, a lot of ministers, evangelists, so my whole life I kind of been around speakers. And that time being at church, sometimes there was a sermon that you didn't get, and sometimes there's a sermon that you got. And it was the person's delivery. They could be the same message, but, if they spoke fast, if they used really big words, if they didn't explain things, you didn't get the message. But they broke it down to you, made it simple, you got the message. So that's what I kind of try to do in my presentations. Digital marketing can be this really scary thing to people. It's really new, but what I try to do is provide simple, relatable advice. So things that you can actually do in your business. Right. So, I try to stay away from a lot of those big terms that scare people. And in my presentations, some studies, they show that people, it's hard for them to look at a PowerPoint slide full of words and focus on you. The mind chooses one or the other. So you have to choose. So I try to use I use slides, but I try to use least amount of words as possible. There's a rule, 6 words per slide, which is really tough.
Yeah.
So very, very little words. Yeah. Some slides have no slides. I use a lot of video. Video is a great way to explain stuff, better than I can, get it across. So that's where it comes from. It's not necessarily not doing slides, but make your information that you're presenting as simple as possible. I had a client a few years back. He was a lawyer, and a lot of lawyers, they try to be big and stuffy, suits and the lapels, and try to talk down to you. But people don't want to be talked down to, So he had this thing, my clients, I speak to them. I want to have my website written on a 5th grade level, so anybody can understand it. So, you can go to nothing wrong with being educated, speaking well. I know a lot of words too, but you can speak up here and reach this amount of people, or I can be simple. I can be relatable and reach a whole, room of people. Yeah. So that's really what I do. And that's really what comes down to the slides, keeping it simple. So the person that's an expert or that knows about digital marketing get it. The person in the back of the room that can barely click a mouse, they can get it.
That's tough. That's tough.
How can one create a social media campaign? Like, what are the essentials to create a social media campaign?
Right. Well, first you need a social media account. That's first. And like I said before, you need goals. So what are your goals? A lot of people do things in digital marketing and they get upset when they don't see results. But what are your goals? So figure out, what do you want the campaign to do? Are you trying to get more followers, trying to get more likes, more retweets? Are you trying to increase sales? What are you trying to do? So first, find what your goal is. Once you have that goal, you can then kind of map out your strategy. So are you going to use videos? Are you going to use pictures? Once you have that goal too, think about what kind of things are you going to say to reach that goal. So, and I would say too is, social media takes time. A lot of people think I'm going to post, I'm having a sale on Facebook, and right away all of my search
everybody gonna be
gone. And it doesn't work that way. It takes time, and social media takes time. So it might take 3, 6, 9, even 12 months. So if you have a campaign, it has to be ongoing. You have to be posting content once a day or twice a day. And I'll say too, with a campaign, is find out what network works for you. So a lot of people do what I call social media overload. I'm on every network, and that's really hard, to be on Snapchat, to be on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and blab.
It gets exhausting even for you.
It can be really tough.
I had to get off Snapchat. Just
So what I tell my attendees is that find 2 or 3 networks that work for you and focus on those, and you can find out what those are by your competition. So you don't have to do some big research, some case study. Look at your competition. See what networks they have the most followers, the most fans on. See what kind of content they post that gets the most likes and most comments. And you don't want to copy them, but you can take some direction from what they're doing and build it into your campaign. And the last thing I would say is that social media is not free. So it used to be that you could just post on social media and that people see your content. Not anymore. So more and more you have to pay to play. So you have to get into social media advertising. So on Facebook, promoting posts, promoting your business, people in a certain area. On Instagram too. Instagram is a part of Facebook, so you can kind of advertise the same way. But you have to put some dollars behind your posts, because there's a stat that when you make a post on your page and it's not promoted, it's organic, that only about 20% of people actually see your post. So if you want to have your post really go far and be seen, you have to promote it. That can be $5, $10, $20, but you have to put some money behind it, because if not, people are not gonna see it.
Man, you just saying that, right, makes me think of my community where for example, somebody could release a music video. Let me speak in terms of artists, like music artists,
Right.
to post a video today, and next week they have about, let's say, 2 million views.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My people's gonna say, "Oh man,
Right.
He bought that.
he bought that. Like he bought those likes." You know what I mean? Like, is that some kind of negative, mentality, or I mean, because you're saying that, promote.
Yeah.
You got to put money to it. So putting money into, promoting your music video and getting all those likes, is that really a bad thing? As most
No,
people say
it's not bad. Now, it's a difference. You can actually buy likes or buy
Yeah, I
views
think
from-
it's a different. Yeah,
from certain companies, and that's kind of bad. One, because companies are smart now; they actually will kind of penalize you and show your video or your post less because they see you've been buying likes and fans or followers. So if you can stay away from that, because it's not the best thing to do. But on the other hand, promoting something is not bad. It's like on TV, there's a commercial,
right?
So you went out and bought that sweatshirt, you bought that watch because you saw the commercial. They didn't make you do it. They didn't force you. So there's nothing with saying, and the way it works too online. So I'm only going to see videos that I like, in a sense. So if I watch all of Jay-Z videos, they're going to show me artists similar to Jay-Z. So if they show me your video, I'm saying, oh, I like this kind of music. Let me click and see.
Right.
So there's nothing wrong with promoting your post.
A lot of
Yeah, that
people
makes
use
sense.
hashtags.
Yeah.
Hashtags, like, do hashtags really work? And what are the benefits of using hashtags?
Yeah, hashtags work. I use them a lot on Instagram. I read a stat somewhere you want to use between 16 and 20 hashtags for a post. That seems like a lot, and it can be,
Dang,
but
16 to 20. You be like, hashtag my clothes.
yeah.
Sweatshirt.
Online, there's some hashtag generators. You put in your topic and it gives you things to hashtag. But it's a great way to be found by people that don't know you. So, if you do like hashtag Starbucks, that's a very popular hashtag. People are doing Starbucks all day, so you might not get seen. So try to find a hashtag that's relevant to your brand. It can be general too. It can be hashtag podcast or podcast entrepreneurship, and somebody may find you that way. So, hashtags do work. I mean, they're a part of the overall equation, and like you said too, some people they post a video and next day they have 8 million views, and some people, that is organic. Some people have that following to where they can do that. They put a video out and it takes hold. So that's something too. So, if you have a small following, you're probably not going to get, 1 million views in a day. But if you have a big community of followers that you've already been grooming, that you've been giving them content on a consistent basis, you put that video up and they see it. They make a comment, they share it, they retweet it, and it goes and goes, and you get those million views. So
Yeah,
I think it's something you gotta grow to.
I wanted to go back just to saying like just personally clarify. So if my competition is excelling in Snapchat, should I go to Instagram or should I focus on Snapchat as well?
I would say Snapchat. Instagram is still not bad to be on, but
no, I'm saying like in terms of like what I'm saying like monitoring what the competition is doing and what people are doing as far as like me trying to get ahead in the digital marketing. Say if my competition is like saying booming on Snapchat per se, is it wise for me to say okay, I'm gonna go to Instagram and build there, or to say I'm gonna stick to Snapchat and maybe excel them in there?
Yeah, I mean that's the strategy. It depends what you want to do. I mean, being on both networks isn't bad, but definitely if your competitor is on Twitter or Snapchat, you should be in there. A few years ago, I had a website hosting, and there was an outage one day, and all the sites went down, and people got on Twitter to complain. Hashtag service sucks, whatever, website down, and then other competitors that were doing hosting were commenting, "Hey, we're having a sale today. If you sign up, half off your hosting." So, it's that old slogan they say, "Keep your enemies closer." So if I'm on the same network, I can see what sales they're doing.
Right.
I can see what things they're having. I can see what complaints the customers are making, and maybe have an opportunity from that. So I would still be on that network that they're on and doing well, and you may be able to siphon some of their visitors to your page.
How much time do you spend on social media?
Yeah. It can be time consuming. So the actual posting is not hard. I mean, coming up with a post or a picture or slogan is not hard, but it's really the strategy that takes a lot of time. So I spend a lot of time on Instagram posting, but a lot of time in DMs, saying, hey, can I speak here? Or, hey, let's work together. Like, hey, let's meet it for coffee. So that's one thing too. A lot of companies don't do a lot of DMing. So even if you're a company, you should be DMing, people and responding, or use DM as form as customer service to respond to customer complaints. And next, comments are big. So, try to leave good comments on people when they post comments, reply with comments, and then find popular sites and profiles and be sure to comment on those. That's really one way that you kind of gain some following. So I think what you said earlier, once you have a strategy, the time kind of becomes less, because you're not just randomly liking and retweeting. Like, sometimes, no offense to you, but for you guys, it was natural. But, you come up with a standard message that you DM a post, and you fill in the blanks with the names. Come up with a social media calendar where you say you plan social media in advance. So you're not doing the day of. You're doing it on Sunday night. You're planning out what you're doing for the whole month.
Right.
You have social media calendar. On Monday, you're posting this. On Wednesday, you're posting this. On Friday, you're posting this. So once you have a strategy, once you have a calendar, once you use one of those social media tools like Hootsuite that kind of can post your things in advance automatically, it makes it a lot easier.
Oh, dang, I didn't even know about that. Right. Sure.
Hey,
you say, and this is me quoting directly from your site, you should not hire me if you are not willing to move quick on ideas.
Yeah.
Is that always wise? Like, what I'm saying? Like, for me, like, I would say maybe sit on the idea, see how it develops.
Yeah. I think it really depends. And what I meant by that is that some things in digital marketing are pretty obvious that you should be doing. So, if you hire me to do work for your company and it's obvious this thing you should be doing and your competition is doing it, we need to move on that. So, and social media too is different from TV, radio, or print. These are things that once you put out a commercial, it's kind of there, it's static. Once you put out an ad in the magazine, it's there. But digital, we can change on the fly. Right. So that's why we got to be able to change, because remember we were saying that we put a sale out on Black Friday, nobody's responding. We can say middle of the day, let's change the offer to new offer. So that's why you have to be able to move quickly, because the internet is this thing that's live, that's moving. And if you wait, sometimes you can miss your opportunity. So, and that's who, online is great because you have so much data that's telling you what to do. So, we can say that, hey, nobody is going to your sales page. They're all going to your about us page. Now, you can be stubborn and say, no, let's keep putting time into our sales page. And I can say, hey, you should work on your about us page. So that's what I mean by moving quickly.
Yeah.
It's not like right now we got to do this thing, but seeing trends, seeing what's happening, and really responding to the market.
Somebody, I'm gonna let you define this. I didn't think we'll be, no offense, that we would need to define this 2017. But somebody watching right now on Facebook said define DM.
Define DM?
Yeah.
Oh, direct message. Pretty.
I wanted you to define it because you got success in that. The left hand crew.
Once again, I try as I can as much to stay away from, those slogans are saying like SEO or SEM. Say what it is. So DM is so simple. You forget sometimes people that maybe that are over 40 may not know what DM means.
Yeah. And it goes back to what you were saying. Like speaking in simple terms, reaching more than. Yeah.
Right. So, I sometimes I make a mistake, but I try to speak in simple ways. And if I say an acronym, explain what it means. Just don't say it and keep moving.
Yeah. I got that one thing where if I'm, having a conversation with my friends and stuff, and they use like a big word, something, I might not know, or I feel like they don't know, I hit them with spell it. spell that word.
Hey, I just use Google, man. Urban Dictionary.
Yeah. But now going back though, and I'm really interested, in knowing the answer to this question, and is, looking on social media, right? What are the things that you see a lot of companies, even individuals do wrong in terms of, posting, in terms of, communicating?
Yeah, I would say first, every network is different. So, if you go to share content on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all of these platforms are different. So on Facebook, you have more space, so have a longer message. On Twitter, you have less, so condense your message. On Instagram, have a picture. So you have to really be careful where you're at. A lot of times people too, they'll repost on Facebook and it'll say click link for bio. Well, that works for Instagram. So sometimes be careful, make sure when you post stuff that it's in the right format to be seen and digested on that platform. So I would say that. Next thing I would say is have a conversation. So a lot of companies, big companies, are just saying stuff. We're doing this, we're doing that, but not saying, hey, what do you want to see? What do you want to do? I think that's big. Next, videos and pictures are great. They increase engagement. When we see video, when we see a human face, we're pulled in. So having a video, having a face on your post is going to go a long way. And like I said before, have a strategy. Post stuff in a way that's going to lead to your ultimate goal. And I'll say too, try to throw some humor in. Don't be too serious. Try to be a little humorous on social media posts. Emojis too. It's funny because the other day I was on LinkedIn and doing emojis and people were like, "What?" I'm like, "Okay, it's too soon for for a LinkedIn to do emojis." Besides the thumb up, that's the universal pretty much. But those are some of the common mistakes that I see. I guess other ones I would say social media mistakes. That's about all that come to me right now.
Yeah,
you give a lot of path, to success in your, in your speech and your delivery and stuff. I once took this cybersecurity class, and the teacher, the dude who taught the class, always spoke about how much money you're gonna get at the end of this, how much money you're gonna get, how much how engaged you're gonna. I mean, like once you put your resume up, people are gonna start calling you. But he failed to mention the failures. He failed to mention, you need such and such.
Might not make it.
Yeah, you need such and such certification to actually get in here. Is this something you point out in your keynotes, when you speak and all that?
Yeah, success is not overnight. I mean, the social media and IT in any field is not overnight. So, and that's one of the downsides of social media, I think, too, is that what you see online is only the good stuff. You only see me out with my girlfriend. You see me on vacation. You see me in my car, my new suit, but you don't see like the down, the down points. The points where you're alone, or money's not what it should be, or you're depressed or whatever. So, I always say social media takes time, and it's not going to be easy. It's a constant process. You find out what works and what doesn't work, and eventually you get to that point. But like I said before, it's not overnight. It doesn't happen in 2-3 months. You have to keep doing it, and it's a lot of trial and error. Trying things that worked and didn't work. Okay, that post worked. Okay, they like video. Oh, they like pictures, and keep going. So it's definitely not not overnight.
You got a conference coming up tomorrow, Monday.
I do.
December 11th.
Yes.
Where it have for people who are interested in, sliding through. What are you going to be speaking on?
Yeah, it's tomorrow night at 7 p.m. In DC. It's at a nonprofit called Street Entrepreneurs, and their mission and goal is really, everybody wants to be like the next Bill Gates. They want to have the next Facebook and Twitter, but one thing that's kind of lost now in this space is like regular tangible business, walking a dog, cutting hair, those simple things. So their goal is kind of bringing more focus to that, the everyday products and services we need. So yeah, they can work with you if you need to do something app related, but real tangible stuff that people kind of overlook. So tomorrow night will be kind of my big talk where I would kind of be covering all digital marketing is, and like I talked about earlier, the Get Found formula, those 5 steps, and kind of when you do all those things, people are going to see you and be driven back to your business and hopefully buy from your company. So I'll be going through your website, what customers want to see in your website, social media, what terms you should have in your website, people can find you, how to use email marketing, and most importantly, how to think like your customer, really get into their head, what things they want to see, what things do they want to hear. And the biggest thing that I see too in digital marketing is in any company, you have to solve a problem. So when somebody comes to your website, if my tooth hurts, I don't want to read the other stuff. I want to hear about how you can solve my toothache. Right. So, really, like I said, getting inside your customer's head. What do they want? Getting inside, how can you solve their pressure, their pain point?
Man, this is so much information to digest. I mean, I'm gonna go back to this, to rewatch it, just to, take it beat by beat. But everything you said, man, it's so cool, it's so sweet. What I mean? It's like something I could just take and apply to life, and everything happens tomorrow. And none of this happened overnight for you too. You know what I mean? Yeah. So going back 10 years, right? If you had to send a message to yourself 10 years ago, what would you tell that person? What would you tell the younger you?
Man, that's a good question. I guess don't be afraid. I mean, going back to when I was a kid, I was always afraid. I really didn't know why. I was kind of this shy kid. So, but the older I got like, who cares what people say or people think? And, like I said, too, when sometimes you weigh the pros and cons, the con is somebody calling me a name or laughing at me. And the pro is this. So yeah, I wish don't be afraid. I mean, really just do things, think outside the box. I wish too, when I started out, I had formed more partnerships. I had that me be me mentality. My name gotta be on it. That was stupid. That sent me back. So I wish I had more partnerships early on. Yeah.
How do you build strong partnerships?
Yeah. It takes time. I do a simple thing. I'm really big on kind of like I'm not good at networking. So I hate going to events, holding my my wine or my cheese and about your business. Like I either eat or I talk. I can't do both.
Right.
So after work, it's a pressure environment. It's loud. People just throwing out business cards, and that doesn't work for me. So what I do a lot of times, I go on LinkedIn and I find somebody. You can see their profile, see what they like, see what companies they've been in, and I see them know. I say, hey, I love what you're doing in this space. I love to meet and talk with you. And we meet about at a Starbucks or a brunch spot. Then just have a conversation and just talk. So that's how I do a lot of my networking and partnerships. So kind of those one-on-one conversations. And every time I do them, they lead to another client, another sale, another speaking engagement. And one other thing I do too is, I mean, with anybody, I don't care what you do, I send you a handwritten note. My handwriting is very bad. No, really bad. Like really. So I find like the more we type and stuff, my handwriting was already bad. Now it's like
horrible.
It's horrible, man. It's just like swiggly lines. But I struggle really hard, hold my hand steady. I write a handwritten note, hey, great meeting with you, can't wait to meet you again. And I, send a gift card from Starbucks because everybody loves Starbucks. Sent me. I don't drink coffee. Don't tell me like that.
You better send me Dunkin' Donuts. You said Starbucks, I'm gonna throw in the trash.
Well, look, if you don't drink coffee, somebody likes Starbucks. You can give it to them. So I buy it for like $5 or $7, send it to them, and you'll be amazed how people don't get mail anymore. They get, I had that meeting with Sterling. I got a card in the mail the other day. I think that's from Sterling. I think I can read it. Oh, that's from Sterling. He sent me a card from Starbucks. And the next day, oh, thank you, that was so great. Send me 3 or 4 referrals to a client. Hey, I know this person. This person calling you tomorrow. When she answers, pick up the phone, and it works. It's like simple stuff. So, it kind of goes back to my approach to digital marketing. Simple, practical, relatable stuff. Hey, let's have lunch. Let's talk about things. And if it makes sense, let's try to work together.
Yeah. Sterling in 5 years.
In 5 years, man, I'll be 40. I'll be old in 5 years. So I want to think about that. In 4 years. In 4 years.
4 years to be precise. Dang, man, that's yeah.
Yeah. So I'm 5 years. Wow. Some kids. Definitely need some kids. Just got married and work on some babies. Yeah. So
you're working on some babies. I like it. Yeah. I like it now, man.
Need some kids, but really the past few years, they always ask, people say, what is your passion? What is your purpose? And it's kind of like a new thing people do, but, I've always asked myself, what is my passion and my purpose? And at the end of the day, I'm a helper. I love, like I said before, I love to help people. So Public speaking is a way I can help and educate. I do a lot of mentoring. That's a way I can help and educate. And, consulting with your company is a way I can help and educate. So really more helping, more speaking, of course, with bigger audiences, bigger companies. So yeah, I would say that. I mean, really just what I'm doing now, but on a bigger level, on a more impactful level.
Man, it's dope stuff, bro. Like AK said, man, it's like you said, it's relevant, and it's what people need to hear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's been dope. And just in that light, how can people reach you? Website, social media.
Yeah. So the best way is my name, sterlingmckinley.com. That's my personal site. Through that site, there's my phone number, links to all my social media pages, contact forms on there as well. And my other company that I have is called Get Found, and that's where I had the Get Found formula from. See where I'm going now. So Sterling McKinley is more of like the personal thing I do, the more consulting, the one-on-one coaching. Get Found is kind of the brand that I use for my speaking. So when I'm speaking like tomorrow night, I was speaking under the Get Found brand. So that site is getfoundmore.com. That site has more about Get Found, kind of our principles, and it has links to upcoming events as well.
Oh, dope. I think saying like this is perfect for it's kind of like a series we're building here, man. It's like everything is good, but you still need that bag to be able to fund things. As far as like the guests we have next week,
Lillian,
Dr. Lillian Mofor, pharmacist, financial educator, consultant as well. She more on like the bag side. So yeah, looking forward to that.
So
man.
there's just like a
transition
to that.
I dig it. Nah, bro, it's been dope having you, man.
Definitely.
It's been dope having you. Congratulations.
Definitely.
Again on the wedding.
Learned a lot from this episode.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. And come back.
Yeah, definitely.
Good luck tomorrow too. And
yeah.
Bruh, let them know.
Hey, man, as always, you've been listening to and watching Stuck in the Middle podcast. Follow us on Facebook, like our page. Don't forget to review our show, on every social platform. Email us at sitmpodcast237@gmail.com.
Yes, sir.
For referrals, comments,
Questions,
concerns.
Yup.
Um,
Birthday shout. I'm just kidding.
Hey, like Rifle said, this Saturday we're gonna be sitting with Dr. Lillian Mufa Bongo. She's a pharmacist, a financial educator, and a consultant as well. You've been listening to Stuck in the Middle podcast. I'm AK. That's Reflex. Tune in next week. We out.